What's going on, Matrix? White Dragon coming to you with another episode of Matrix Unplugged. We got a short show tonight, not going to be really long. I got my man PB the Guy with me. What's going on, Peyton?
Hey, what's going on, man? How you doing? How you doing?
Good, man. Good, man. How's your week going?
Not too bad, man. You know, getting through it. How about you?
Hey, not too bad, man. All right, you guys, we finally got some content going. We're in week 4 right now, so we've had some games played. We've got some stats to talk about. So let's go ahead and jump straight on into some things. As I said, I've got my man Pepe with me right now. Let's go ahead and break down the league admins. I'm tired of people not knowing who is who. Pause this screen, read through it. If you guys have questions, we've got commissioners, we've got graphics team, we've got trade committee, and we have transaction log trackers. All right, so take a picture of this, screenshot, do what you got to do, know who is who in the league. Quick rundown of the AFC. We don't have any new teams in the AFC, so everybody has stayed vigilant. Everybody's playing their game, so thank you guys so far for the AFC. However, the NFC, we've had a couple of quitters. We've had to add a few people. The New Orleans Saints, the original user, he quit like a little baby, so we added in Fly 2 times. That's Bricks. He's played with us before, so it's good to have Bricks back in. And then we have the San Francisco 49ers. The first guy, Udre, he quit early on. And the new guy that we just had, it was a JVYY Dub. The dude quit because Alpha was beating his ass. So we're looking for a new 49ers team. If you guys could help us find a new 49ers team, let's get that filled over the weekend. All right, Pepe. I want to go ahead and talk about these team tier rankings. I know you were a little upset with the first initial rankings that came out before preseason. This was the preseason rankings. In tier 1, you had the Eagles, the Chiefs, the Bills, Cardinals, myself with the Bucks. Tier 2, you had the Lions, Ravens, Texans, Seahawks, Packers, Washington, Jaguars, Raiders. Tier 3 was the Broncos, Cardinals, Dolphins. You at the Colts in Tier 3. I thought that was a bit silly, but you were sitting at Tier 3. You had the Browns, Bengals, Vikings rounding out Tier 3. And then Tier 4, you had the Bears, Jets, Niners, Saints, and Cowboys. What were your thoughts on the initial team rankings? This was from preseason before we had got into week 4 where we're at now.
It's not really a bad, I guess you could say, preseason pre-rankings, I guess, because you really don't know what's going on. You don't know how people's going to do. They've been in the lab. They've not been in the lab. They've been bullshitting around, putting in the time. So, I mean, I guess it wasn't actually too bad now that I look at it. There's just some teams here and there that could have either been up or down, but overall, not too bad.
Well, we do have some movement, you guys. So this is the preseason tier rankings. Let's go ahead and look at Mad Cow's tier rankings for week 4 so far. So one of our commissioners, Mad Cow, he makes these every 3 or 4 games, and here are the changes that we have. You have in tier 1, the Buffalo Bills, the Eagles, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the Arizona Cardinals. The Kansas City Chiefs, they dropped out of that first tier. Are you surprised with that, Pepe?
Somewhat, but not really. I think he's sitting at what, like 2-1, 3-1. Chiefs, not too bad. He's still up there, but I guess because that one loss hurt him because everybody else is undefeated in the first tier, so I guess it makes sense.
Well, he's got the best team in the game now. He's got, obviously, you know what receivers he's got. You know what tight end he's got. You know his quarterback, but he added Dalvin Cook to the team. So that offense is hands down the best offense in the league. So I would like to see him make it back up to the tier 1. But we have a lot of movement in tier 2. So the tier 2 teams, as of week 4 today, you have the Detroit Lions, Kansas City Chiefs, who fell down, the Jacksonville Jaguars, they moved up a tier. You've got the Texans, the Raiders, the Seahawks, yourself with the Colts, Pepe, you moved up to tier 2. Then we've got the Bengals, who moved up to tier 2. The Packers, the Panthers, and the Chargers. Then if you go down to tier 3, we've got the Patriots, the Falcons, the Giants, the Rams, the Vikings, the Browns, the Broncos, Washington football team, and the Steelers. Any surprises in the first 3 tiers, Pepe?
Or the Vikings. I feel like the Vikings shouldn't be in the tier 3. He should be in tier 2. He's actually a pretty good player. I put it against when he got me. So, and he has a decent record. That's one team that I guess is on the border of 2 or 3. I feel like he should be at 2.
Well, I know one
maybe.
thing. I know one thing. Mad Cow does when he does the rankings. He tries to look at people's schedule, and he also looks to see if you got any force wins, things like that. So he's going to try to take weight over what the strength of the schedule was, and if you had force wins, or if it was a sim win, or if it was an actual played game. But moving on to Tier 4. Tier 4, you're going to find the New York Jets, the Miami Dolphins, the Chicago Bears, the Cowboys, the Ravens, and the Titans. I know there was a few people in the chat, they were saying that simulation, they didn't like simulation style, the best players don't feel right, they like competition because it should be all about stick skills. Well, to me, this right here proves it's all about stick skills. Obviously, the Bears, the Cowboys, and the Ravens are three of the top 10 teams in the game, but they're sitting down here in Tier 4. So to me, this shows simulation is working. For the simulation style, it's going to give weight to calling the right coverage, manning up versus zone. So you actually have to play chess instead of playing checkers. To me, playing competitive, that's just playing checkers. You're just, really easy. It's just stick skills and that's it. There's no thought put behind it. So anybody in this tier 4 that you think should maybe move up some, you think maybe is not getting some love?
Honestly, man, the Ravens kind of surprised me going from 2 to 4. Come on, Terrell, you got the second, if not the best team in the game. I know you moved around some of your pieces, but you know how to play. I'm surprised seeing you in that tier 4 sitting at 0-3. So that's one team I'm definitely surprised about.
I think for him, I know Latrell's never really used a full-on mobile quarterback, so maybe he's getting used to using Lamar Jackson. I can't make an excuse for you much longer, Trell. I want to see you get some wins on the board. I want to see you put a little bit of competition in that AFC North because it does look like the Bengals may run away with it. But let's keep it moving. Oh, look what we got right here, a little Tampa Bay magazine, you guys. If y'all want to just, take a little pause on that, I had to throw in some Tampa Bay news. Keeping it going to league stats. So let's go ahead and take a look at some league stats, Pepe. So in the NFL, let's take a look at the passing yard leaders. So you guys, these stats are current as of about 8:30 p.m. tonight. So if you guys are playing your game right now, or if you finished at like 8:45 or 8:50, the stats aren't going to reflect that exactly. But this is through week 4. We still have a lot of games left to play. But currently, Tom Brady, he's leading the league in passing yards with 1,223. Passing touchdowns, the leader is going to be Josh Allen, followed by Tom Brady right there. There's a big tie there in second place. So you got Tom Brady, Matt Stafford, Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes. If we go back to the passing yards, you got Tom Brady, Matt Stafford, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, and Josh Allen. Moving on to the rushing yards. What we got going on with the rushing game so far this year, Pepe? What's it looking like?
Well, Jonathan Taylor sitting at number 1 with 536 rushing yards. Then at second, the Jaguars. I don't know who this guy he has at number 2. Kafalani Muhammad. He looks like me playing running back at 5'7", 174. I don't know how this guy's doing it, but he's getting through with it.
Muhammad, I know Muhammad has like 94 speed, and I think he sniped him in free agency. So Clay K with the Jags, excellent free agency move right there, getting Muhammad because he's proven that it's working.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Then you got Mixon at 3rd, Henry at 4th, and Chubb at 5th. Moving on to touchdowns. Kefalani Muhammad, number 1, 10 touchdowns rushing. Jesus Christ. Second, you have Jonathan Taylor. 3rd, Mixon with 8. Austin Eckler with 5. And there's about 4 people tied for 4th in rushing.
All right. Let's move it on to receiving stats. So in receiving yards, we've got with the Cincinnati Bengals, the speed demon, John Ross III, J.R. Trey, 702 yards. He is by far the league leader in receiving yards. This guy is bombing it out with John Ross. Got to show him some love. You got DJ Chark right there with 368 yards. So it looks like the Jaguars have some offense. They've got a really good running back. They've got somebody getting on the board with receiving. And then you got Nelson with 367 yards, Darius Slayton with 357, Keenan Allen, Tyreek Hill, and Mike Evans all in the 300 range. Looking at receiving touchdowns, John Ross is leading the league there, tied with Tyreek Hill. So you got Ross and Hill. They're leading the league tied with 6 touchdowns. what really surprises me, John Ross is averaging 175 yards a game. You guys are going to have to start double covering this man. He is unstoppable. He's going to be an X factor by the end of the year. Right behind your 6 touchdown players, you got my man Mike Evans, Mr. 13, unlucky 13, with 5 touchdowns. And then you got DJ McCaff, Ross, you got Foster, Sims, and Cook rounding out a tie there with 4 touchdowns. Peyton, what's the defense looking like? Who's leading the league in tackles? Who's leading the league in sacks? What's it looking like, brother?
Okay, leading the league in tackles, we have Miles Jack with 26. Also, Raekwon Smith with 26. Followed up with Fred Warner with 25. DJ Hayden with 24. And multiple players with 23. Sacks. Let me look at sacks. Here we go. You got Jamie Collins of the Detroit Lions leading the league in sacks with 5. Brandon Graham second with 4. And Shaquille Barrett and Marcus Davenport and Josh Allen all with 3 sacks.
Yeah, that's a big tie right there with those 3 there. How about interceptions? What we got going on interceptions?
So for tied for first place with interceptions in the league, you got Shaquille Griffin and DJ Hayden, followed by like 20 people that have 3 interceptions. It's a lot. That's a bunch of them.
So people are getting dirty with these interceptions. They are getting dirty with them. One thing I noticed, I'm going to go back real quick to the passing stats. So looks like we've got a lot of guys throwing out some pretty good touchdown numbers, but I'm seeing a lot of picks on here. Matt Stafford, 9 touchdowns, 12 picks. Josh Allen, 12 touchdowns, but 7 picks. Deshaun Watson, surprisingly, this really stuck out to me. He's got 9 passing touchdowns, only 1 interception, 70% pass completion. He has been extremely efficient, sitting there with 121.1 quarterback rating. Patrick Mahomes, 9-5, same thing as Tom Brady, not too bad. Gardner Minshew, 8 touchdowns to 3 interceptions, very nice. And then Baker Mayfield, 8 touchdowns to 12 interceptions. So we're seeing a lot of picks early on. I think people are learning that it's more of a man coverage game this year. So it's going to take some adjustments with that. Real quick, you guys, we do have the rookie draft class showing up now because we're in week 3 and week 4. After we get some more scouting stats that I can actually post up here, we'll start doing a little feature for quarterbacks and running backs and who we think is going to be the top talent coming out of the college this year. So be looking out for that for the next podcast. Also, I want to remind everybody, get your trades taken care of before week 8. Trade deadline is week 8, all right? So if you guys want to go ahead and trade away any bad contracts, if you guys want to cut any bad contracts, do that ASAP because we will clear cap penalties at the end of the season, all right? So if you've got a quarterback who's way overpaid, if you've got a lineman who's way overpaid, if you've got somebody you just want to get rid of and dump, take care of it before we get to the off season, all right? That way we go ahead and have you cut that person and clear their cap penalties. Also, you guys need to start paying a little bit more attention when you're doing your trades. Make sure you go look at the cap penalty that goes with it, all right? It's eventually going to hurt you guys down the road. So make sure you start paying attention to cap penalties. That's pretty much it, Pepe. I'm going to go ahead and scroll through the league rules and everything. People can pause it if they want to read any of the rules. Do you have anything to add? Anything going on with the league? What you got, man?
If y'all have a problem with in-game situations, make sure you message the commissioners of if you're an NFC or AFC, and just make sure you go ahead and get the problem squared away. If it's, tied 21-21 in the fourth and you have a disconnect or something happens, just make sure you message the right commissioner and get that squared away on what to do or how to handle the situation.
Yeah, absolutely, you guys. We have really basic replay rules, all right? If you guys, let's say it's right around halftime and Pepe and me were playing, so it's Colts, Bucks. Let's say he's beat me by 20 and the game disconnects. You're going to replay the game, but you're only going to play one half, and you're going to have a 20-point handicap. So what does that mean? That means you're going to load up, start a new game. You're just going to play the first quarter and the second quarter. You guys are going to take a screenshot of the score at halftime. Y'all are going to go ahead and quit from that point, and then we'll just add 20 points to that in our heads or on a piece of paper, and then a commissioner will give whoever needs the force win. So you have to take into account the quarter that you were in and who had the ball. So it's not like we're just going to stand there and let you just score your 20 points. We're just going to tack that on to the final score, all right?
Let me add to that, right quick. My bad. And if the game is tied and y'all come to an agreement on anything, like if y'all want to replay, and you think that the sim could hurt your stats on certain players, or you feel like you're not getting certain things, and both of you agree on to replay it, y'all can replay it as long as if y'all come to agreement and tell the commissioner and they okay it.
Absolutely, as long as both parties agree on the same thing. All right. If one person's saying, "Hey, I agree to replay, but you got to let me score a bomb touchdown," and the other person doesn't agree to it, well, then that's not going to happen. But if both parties say, "Hey, you know what? It shut off at halftime. It was a close game. We'll just run it back and play the whole game and get our stats." You guys can do that, but it has to be agreed on by both parties. All right. So you're going to have to reach out to the person you're playing. Come up with something that's going to work for both of you. Otherwise, we're going to drop the hammer and handle it how we said earlier. That's pretty much it this week, you guys. We didn't have a lot to go over. I wish I would have had more of the rookie reports. However, I've still got to get some more scouting points so I can go ahead and show you guys who some of the best rookies are coming out. And we will break that down. Give me some predictions, Pepe. Who do you think is going to take the NFC and who do you think is going to take the AFC? Let me get a couple of predictions for you.
Man, that's a good question, man. There's a bunch of good teams, honestly. AFC, I feel like, I don't know, I like the Bills. The Bills seem like he has a pretty good team. He seems like he knows what he's doing. He's playing good. So I like the Bills in the AFC. And the NFC, I like, I don't know, it's three good teams. But I think probably either the Eagles, or Leaf Too Real, honestly, man. I know I know you're up there too, but I don't know if you got to put enough work in to make it all the way.
Yeah, I haven't put the work in. I might get to the playoffs by luck. I haven't really dropped anybody off. The wins that I've got, I'm not proud of them. When I played the Saints, that guy quit the league, so that shows how good he was. My second game, I had a division matchup against the Panthers with Post Jesus. I really should have lost that game. I clutched it out towards the end. The Broncos is still learning his offense. He's getting used to the team that he's got. So he threw a lot of picks, but he definitely could have beat me. And this last one was a really, really good game. I had to play the Chargers. Fumbled the ball on the goal line, inside the red zone, at midfield, a whole bunch of dumb shit. Kicked a fucking field goal off the crossbar. Barely came through and won that. So my 4-0 start, it's a bit misleading. But for me, I'm going to say the AFC, the teams that I think are going to make it to the AFC Championship, I think I'm going to have to say the Chiefs, and then I'm going to have to say the Bills. I'm looking for a Chiefs-Bills AFC Championship game. And in the NFC, I think I'm going to have to call an Eagles-Cardinals game here, but I want to say Eagles-Lions. We'll see how the Lions bounce back from this last loss that they had, but I think it's going to be Eagles and Cardinals. We're going to see the battle of the birds in the NFC. All right, Pepe, well, that's pretty much it, brother. Go ahead and close this thing out, and we'll see you guys next week.
Y'all take it easy, man. I'll talk to y'all later.
All right. Y'all have a good one.